Story 1. Choco Taco. Estimated time of arrival, since this ended up as the top post. I don't usually respond to threads like this because I figure they're either bots, artificial intelligence training, or advertisement executives doing market research. But in this case, I hope all you bots, artificial intelligence, and advertisement executives are listening. The people have spoken. Bring back the Choco Taco. Story 2. Philadelphia Strawberry Cheesecake Bar. Edit. There is a company called Iconic Candy. They revive discontinued candy. I was happy to see Cream Savers Candy Strawberry and Altoid Sours be revived. Fingers crossed they bring them back. Story 3. Taco-flavored Doritos. Every now and then they reappear, but they do not have the same amount of seasoning, so they are a poor representation of the original. Story 4. LA Choi Mini Egg Rolls, the frozen ones. They looked like pizza rolls and had shrimp, chicken, or pork, and I think they came with dipping sauce. The ultimate after-school or sleepover snack in the mid-1990s. I've actually contacted LA Choi many times over the years to request they please bring them back. Never done that for anything else. They sold them to Michelina's, and they just discontinued them to take them off the market. Story 5. Lay's cream cheese and chive kettle-cooked chips. They were like a better version of sour cream and onion, and I really don't understand why there isn't at least a kettle-cooked version of those available either. Their kettle-cooked chips are popular, and sour cream and onion is one of their best sellers, so combining them seems like a no-brainer to me. Get your act together, Lay's. Story 6. Yogos. Story 7. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups before they downgraded the quality to whatever the imposter cups are that they label as Reese's Peanut Butter Cups now. Same with Butterfingers. My two favorite Halloween staples from childhood. Now gone the way of degradation because they have to please the shareholders and squeeze out every cent you can at any non-financial cost. Criticism of capitalism. Story 8. Starburst flavors that aren't the original or favorite Reds. Don't get me wrong, I love those assortments, but I'd still like to see more variety. At least bring back tropical. Story 9. Taco Bell Fire Roasted Sauce made Taco Bell 100 times better. I will die on this hill. I still sometimes ask for it in the drive-thru, to my wife's waning patience. Story 10. Taco Bell used to have a wonderful taco shell called Taco Light. I absolutely loved it for Taco Supremes. I suppose they were too fragile for them to get from production to restaurants and survive the whole ordeal into customer mouths, but I loved the Taco Light. It wasn't diet or anything. The shell was light and airy, with a very satisfying texture and taste when crunched into. I'd want that back. I also want back the original Adams Chiclets. They had a hard candy shell, which I also enjoyed so much. They're out of business now, at least in the United States. Story 11. McDonald's signature crafted burgers and chicken sandwiches. Created in 2017 and discontinued in 2019. Those were the best McDonald's products I have ever tasted. Story 12. Orbits, that drink from the late 1990s with the floating colorful balls suspended in them. I loved that drink. Orbits featured floating little chewy balls in beverages before the current bubble tea fad. Story 13. Hostess pies. The old kind. Hostess still sells many of these fruit pie flavors, but if you ask anyone that grew up on these original fruit pies, the new ones are just a little off. Not only that, the competition among snacks is fiercer than ever, leaving a fruit pie feeling a little nostalgic. Story 14. Guacamole Doritos. I loved them. There were these gourmet M&Ms that were milk chocolate, dark chocolate, and white chocolate inside. Excellent for chocolate cravings, they helped me through my period for years. Story 15. I swear Breyers used to make a variation of Neapolitan ice cream that had coffee in place of strawberry, but I can't find any evidence it ever existed, nor any current equivalent. Story 16. KFC had popcorn chicken that had me running to them every time they came out. The most recent kind was nowhere near the previous recipe. They were gross and breaded. Rather than go back to their previous recipe, they were rebranded as nuggets. W. Story 17. There were these little Hello Kitty no sugar, zero fat gummies. I was obsessed. They were absolutely delicious. They were sold at Sheetz, but I have not seen them in years. Although I'm pretty sure I was the only one buying them. Story 18. Okay, so Campbell's used to make a chunky chicken noodle soup, and that was my number one comfort food. It had the darker red label and wasn't condensed. I'd love to taste that again. Story 19. The blueberry dunker flavored potato chips at Quick Trip convenience stores. Perfect combination of sweet and salty. And yes, they really did taste like blueberry dunker donuts. Story 20. Those edible straws. They came in a red box, and I feel like there was some kind of bird on it too. They were a bunch of different colors. They were like cereal texture. Someone please remember for me. I was obsessed with those as a kid. Story 21. There was a place in Pikeville, Kentucky, called Jerry's Family Restaurant that made the best, most distinctive spaghetti ever. And now it's gone forever. So it's another extinct flavor. My mom's brother worked there, and apparently one of their secrets for the sauce was that it had chili con carne in it. I swear I would pay $100 right now for a to-go order of spaghetti, the grilled sesame seed toast, that cold, crisp, delicious little side salad, and the little cup of applesauce they gave you. Story 22. Swedish pancakes from Trader Joe's. I stopped going there much because they kept discontinuing or changing my favorite products. But this one was the worst because I can't get them anywhere else, either. I even ordered a special pan to make my own, but they weren't nearly as good. Story 23. Does anyone remember Munch EMS? They were a Keebler product, and it's the first snack I can remember being obsessed with as a kid. They got discontinued long ago. Anyone I ask seems to not remember them. Maybe it was a fever dream. I'd love to bring those back to see if they're as good as my 7-year-old brain remembers. Story 24. Not food, but I miss Tab Cola. It was my morning drink with my chocolate bar breakfast for my 8 a.m. class in college. Yeah, diet pop and chocolate. Not my brightest choice. Story 25. DiGiorno Italian-style favorites meat trio. I remember before Christmas 2016, she asked me over the phone what to get for when we visited, and I wanted pizza, thinking Little Caesars, and she got that kind instead. I didn't like frozen pizzas since it took time to make and Caesars was cheaper back then. Well, suffice to say, the pizzas never got eaten, and it was a sore issue for the remainder of the visit. 2 months later, she was diagnosed with terminal stage 4 pancreatic cancer and given 6 months to live. She didn't even make 2, and later, when my father and I were cleaning out her house, we found the pizzas still in the freezer. I decided to at least try to have one and watch an old Disney movie, since by then, I realized that's really what Grandma had wanted. She just wanted to give me something I wanted so that she could enjoy something she liked with me, and I was just too wrapped up in my own concerns to realize it. My father and I went through all of them, and for 2 years after that, we would always have that kind of pizza whenever we watched movies at home. It just became a thing until they discontinued it. So now, DiGiorno Italian-style favorites meat trio frozen pizzas have become my Szechuan sauce. Every few months or so, I'll go online to see if they brought it back. But so far, it's been a strikeout. Too long. Didn't read DiGiorno Italian-style favorites meat trio because it reminds me of when I was younger, when my grandma was alive, and when things were just all around better in the world. Story 26. Hands down, Grandma Cookie's chocolate chip that used to be sold at Aldi before they discontinued. Never found a replacement that was just like them. Don't get it confused with those nasty 2-cookie snack packs at gas stations that say Grandma's Cookies. Those ones are a cheap, nasty imitation of the real thing. Story 27. I suspect it got discontinued to be sold in Germany because the packaging is simple and yellow and made out of paper, opposed to the fancy wooden packages of Lou President. And because it's a relatively sharp and smelly camembert as it should be. Stupid Germans. Don't know a good thing when it burns up their nose hair.